Ricky Yang, founder and director, Sepia Hotels and Resorts. Ricky, please. Fantastic. Gotcha.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. So good afternoon from Kuala Lumpur. Thank you again, David and Team DAC for organizing this webinar. I don't have a presentation deck to present, so I'm just gonna, yap away. First off, I want to say that I'm certainly pleased to be given this opportunity to share my take on the Malaysian hospitality scene through my experience of starting up a hotel brand and management company. I will, of course, talk also on what lies ahead for all stakeholders in the hospitality industry and how it may shape the next generation of hospitality leaders in Malaysia. First off, my heart really goes out to all hotel owners and to all hospitality professionals in this very challenging time. I know many of us have lost jobs and some hotels have literally called it a day. Bear in mind though, that whilst things may not be like what it was before, the premise here today must always be that travel, tourism, and hotels will remain relevant into the conceivable future. Wanderlust and the need to explore is hard-coded in our human DNA, and this will never change. Therein lies hope for us all. So let me first take you back to look at the Malaysian hospitality landscape before the pandemic. Many industry professionals will tell you that we were already facing massive challenges then. In the last 8 years, there were huge spikes in available inventories across the country. First, you have the increasing new hotel developments. Then you have a whole slew of service residences that came online due to developers' guaranteed rental returns promised to their unit owners. And then there was the mushrooming of budget and boutique hotels across the country. The availability of accommodation rooms really ballooned. Demand couldn't keep pace with the supply. Occupancies fell and rates started going south. And amidst all this, we were literally steamrolled with further inventory spikes through the unregulated and openly permissible short-term rental disruptions. Even without the pandemic, we were facing an industry crisis. Not as sudden and dramatic as COVID-19, mind you, but a looming crisis all the same. It was against this backdrop that Sepia Hotels and Resorts was founded. From where I was sitting at the time, a couple of years back as the CEO of a local hotel chain, I could see a vicious cycle forming. As profits dipped, owners resorted to cost cutting. These cuts affected quality. As hotel standards were compromised, consumers increasingly moved to alternatives like the unregulated short-term rental disruptors. Owners seriously needed help. They needed sound and experienced hospitality insights and expertise. I saw an opportunity for a homegrown brand like Sepia to fill that niche. So we asked the question, what can we bring to the table aside from the founder and our associates having years of operating hotels and resorts in the local scene? Well, for starters, we prided ourselves as being an indie hotel company. This means that we were unencumbered by volumes of rigid brand standards. We had a blank canvas. We wanted Sepia to be able to offer a more bespoke adaptability to every owner's vision of their hotel. And we must always remember, it is the owner's hotel. Branding notwithstanding, the hotel belongs to the owner. We also wanted to be a very personalized and I guess a somewhat bijou kind of firm where the person you talk to will be the person who will get the job done for you and not relegated to someone else. We thought these were pretty sound strategies. And then we hit the wall, bam. You see, for all our unique advantages, we had two serious drawbacks. The first is that being an indie brand, we lacked serious distribution on the global front, especially in key supply markets like China. And China, as everyone can tell you, is a key focus for any Malaysian hotel moving forward. The second is from the banks. Many banks were reluctant to release loans for hotel developments in Malaysia due to the challenging market condition. And it would certainly help if the operator is a more well-known brand. And so our solution was to look for partners, and not just any partners. We specifically wanted a partner from China because we know that this is where the big inbound travel volume to Malaysia is going to come from. So we partnered with a China-based hotel group, Gloria International, on all our management projects. And in return, CPL will represent Gloria in key areas outside of China. Now, all at once, we had the accreditation of affiliated to an international chain. We had back-end resources from a big company, and most importantly, an established China brand. Gloria's distribution, reach, and expertise in China markets is invaluable. And as we will see later on in further presentation, China is critically important for Malaysia. So moving on through this, we asked how we can add value for guests and how we can compete with the type of accommodation offered by short-term rental disruptors. For example, we know that Malaysia is very much a family-oriented destination, and as such, we want our rooms to be able to accommodate a family of 4, for instance. And we consider this not just from a bathing perspective, but also extended to other conveniences like the segregation of bathroom facilities for simultaneous use. After all, there's no point having 4 people being accommodated in a room and they can only use the toilet one at a time. Right. And on top of all this is what's critically important to cater to the China market is to get input from China companies on things like soft amenities, because this will add to a comfortable sense of familiarity for our guests from China. Now that in a nutshell is pretty much what CPA is all about and the journey with CPA. I would like to segue now into the current situation brought about by the pandemic that we all—
You've got about a minute, Ricky, just to
sure. Okay. Everything that I spoke about regarding the challenges the industry faced pre-COVID is simply magnified explosively now. So you must imagine what hotel owners are going through. If they needed help then, imagine what they must be going through now. What I see happening is that hotel owners and developers must know and realize the value of engaging external expertise to help them either to improve their business performances or to provide valuable professional input on their developments. Owners are, however, very reluctant at this point in time to consider long-term engagement commitments, but they would be very warm to the idea of a limited engagement where required expertise can improve their business and possibly even reduce their overheads without a locked-in perpetual commitment of an employment contract. Individual hospitality experts should start to frame and offer their specialized expertise to owners as well as to hotel companies on a project-to-project basis, very much like the gig economy concept. Hotel companies, mine included, will likewise need to pivot our suite of services to cover niches over and above the standard overarching management contracts. And as managing a hotel is broad spectrum, I certainly do encourage individual professionals between themselves, as well as even with hotel companies, to forge alliances and partnerships to tackle projects as they come along. And lastly, with all this, I really feel that there will be a significant trend for hotels to lean towards outsourcing entire functions or departments wholesale. Think third-party reservation call centers, outsource retail revenue management, outsource the entire sales department and even the entire marketing division of your hotels. Hotels will need to go leaner as we go along. And that will be what I think the complexion of the next generation hospitality leadership will be like, in my humble opinion.
Great stuff. Ricky, thank you. Some really good outspoken views for everyone to think about.